Hello, welcome back. So there's a wedding going on behind me, so I can't speak very loudly. I know that makes it hard for you to hear. I am ready to switch over here from my sketching grip. Those of you who've ever taken an art class from me, I make a big deal about the difference, how to hold the pencil when you are drawing, and really when you're sketching is more correct term. But most of my sketching is done, and I'm ready to move to greater detail. So, oh, wonderful. Thanks, sweetie.
Oh, wow.
I'm recording.
Look behind you. You're going with this nut.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, here, we'll turn these people around so you can see the wedding here. There it is. Isn't that nice? String quartet playing on the other side of the house. Now, let me straighten you back out so you're pointed the right direction. Hi, Heather. Usually when I do a reception, I usually try to, like I did last night when did a wedding in Long Island last night, New York, and I usually try to include one table because I figure the wedding planners, the bride and the groom, everybody, the bride I should say, has spent tons of time designing, planning, thinking about, and tons of money thinking about the table. So, in years to come, of course, I understand that my paintings will actually become what the wedding looked like. In spite of what it actually looked like, my painting for most people over the centuries will become what the painting looks like. Okay, I better be quiet now. The music is stopped. Bagpipes is stopped. Time to talk quieter.
Keep telling them that in the book of Ecclesiastes, there's time for everything. So you see all these different faces in different places here. Mom and dad, friends, family. They all have different memories of you. And so they all think of different times. And you serve their country, you're a man. You think about you, right? And think about your first step. And think about 316 parties. And think about all the special memories. Siblings here, and fights that have happened. And good memories too, and hikes through these mountains, and all kinds of wonderful things.
I don't think I want to keep going with that degree of detail, so let me jump ahead a little bit. Again, let me point you at what I'm painting. There you go. So there's the chairs. You've already seen me draw a couple of those. And there's Marco, stop following me. I guess I'm following somebody across country.
in that process. And there's a part I love about the story. What's the date? And the code had to do with their cat. Dad was in a test, inside or outside. I wonder if I messed this up. Inside was good, right? If you said after an hour and a half, the cat was inside, Dad could leave you alone and you would hang out just to go to the cat. If you said the cat was outside, Dad needed to come and get you. But y'all don't even have a cat. And that's one of the good parts about that. And then the irony of that was he does have a cat. And you can have a cat around. And so we've got Robert is a cat now. And Wally is not here with us today. But family let's see if
Sorry, I got distracted turning around and actually watching the.
Is it talking about time for life?
Okay, so heads. A sea of heads, I believe, is appropriate. And I think I can see the bride and groom now, and so I can see, okay, yes, he is slightly taller than the bride. I think I'll put the bride here, and I'll put the groom here, probably. Okay, so that gives me a focal point. I'm pretty, I'm pretty locked into when I do a wedding, when I do a reception, and the bride and groom are doing their dance. That's that's pretty much a lock-in. That is the psychological focal point, and most of the time it should be the graphic focal point as well. So that helps me figure out where to go. You know what? I have a feeling that this is going to be a pen and ink. I think I'm going to add ink to this, just because there's a lot of architecture. We have two tents out here, plus a beautiful, what you call it, style house. What's the style of that house? Tudor castle style. Yeah, castle. Yeah, rich castle house. So those things make me think that probably I'll be doing some pen and ink on this. There's a lot of line work. Okay, let me zoom in here and get really the most important elements first. Bride and groom number one. And I wanted to get this foreground stuff out of the way. Okay, these people over here are going to go real abstract. Can you see what I just did there? Yeah, you can, can't you? What brand of watercolor pencil? Heather, whatever's on sale. I've tried them all. These are pretty nice. Derwent ink tints, very nice. Like those a lot. Caran d'Ache, I don't know how you say that. Caran d'Ache, Swiss. I like that as well. And I'm sure I've got some others down there. Yeah, here's an Albrecht Dürer, Faber-Castell. So there you go. Nope. I just buy whatever's on sale. Anyway, I was going to point out this very abstract area down here. Let me back out just a little bit. Many times, this kind of stuff in acrylic and watercolor, in acrylic and oil as well as watercolor, ends up being the strongest areas of a painting. Not always, but often enough that it's worth noting that sometimes where you do your, so to speak, messiest work ends up being your best work. So just keep that in mind when you're, again, I'm talking to you as though you all are artists. Many of you are, so keep that in mind. Sometimes the best stuff happens while you're trying hard to do something else. This is a tree. It is going to have leaves on it.
And I'm going to read you a verse of scripture that most
I'm not going to draw very many of them, just a few. And it's got these cute little candle balls hanging on it. Well, let me show this to you again, just because it's fun. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous reception on so many levels.
do this, but the temptation might be there. Try and stop it.
You see those little balls hanging on the tree?
Next verse is this. Iron sharpens iron.
They've got little candles in them, little tea lights. It's just beautiful. Everything's gorgeous. And on the other side of this huge, sorry to sound like I'm gawking, but drooling, gorgeous house. On the other side of it is, of course, is a mountain view. You know, you can see 30 miles away. One of those kind of things. Delightful. I can think of so many worse ways to make a living than this. Working for rich people and enjoying the beauty and not having to clean up or pay for it. That's really good with me. This is the band. By the way, I've worked with this band before. It's really, really quite delightful to run into people that you know. Another little fun side benefit of this kind of business. Just about time to start doing some painting here. That'll be fun. It's always fun to do painting. And yes, Heather, thanks for enjoying the watercolor. Here's a funny irony. I was a freelance illustrator for 25 years. I still am, but I was a full-time illustrator for 25 years before I switched over to quote-unquote fine art. And most of my work during those days was watercolor. Pen and ink, watercolor, airbrush, and then every other, you know, colored pencil, gouache, every other medium, all the commercial media, I would say. When I switched over to oil only about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, my first oil painting, I thought, dang, why didn't somebody tell me this was so easy? That's how I felt after. So anyway, I've done more years, way more years of watercolor than I have oil painting. But oil painting is what I've done mostly in the last 15 years, so it's the medium that has matured the most. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I've progressed very quickly in. So when I come back to watercolor, I have to be careful not to revert to some of my old habits. Okay, I'm probably done now. Let me show this to you. I've done 4 layers, if you can see them. Yellow, orange, red, and purple. I could still do blue, and I may, but I think I'm going to stop at this point and either start painting or do some pen and ink. Now I'm going to paint. Okay, but probably next episode will be on Facebook. And you understand, don't you, when the wedding party comes over, I'm going to be very limited as to how much broadcasting I can do. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. Leave comments, and I'll certainly answer them sometime in the next several days.